Dear friends, it is a continuation of the talk about establishing of a nucleus. It will be talk number 10. Number 10, though it is a continuation of the previous one. Well, in order to do it, of course, I said there will be a group of people who are dedicated, who are clear, etc. How this group will meet? That's a big question, which I don't have particular an answer, but since you will be most likely much younger than you are much more skillful in all sorts of social media, which I must say, a complete ignoramus. But I know that they exist and people communicate, can make groups and whatnot. So you could do it somehow. On my part, the only thing, I created a group called Cooperative Wisdom Society, which if you click on the site, which you are now watching, on the left column at the very top is the logo of Facebook. If you click, you are getting to this group and you could join it and do whatever you want. Well, ideal situation, if such group of people live in a relatively close proximity, that they occasionally can meet face to face. That is an ideal situation. Why? Because it's much more, from my experience, easier and more direct to communicate, to discuss, to come to consensus when people are in close proximity, as it is suggested to be done in Nucleus. Why? It is not exactly known, but I suspect, no proofs, that it is something to do with physics of communication, not necessarily verbal or even visual, but there are other energies which we really don't yet properly research or not research at all, which come into play. But it doesn't matter what is the theoretical model for that. It sort of works that way. Because the key of establishing there will be lots of decision. When the nucleus already is formed and functional, of course there will be decisions, but they will be less difficult and less critical, because here, as I said, you decide to completely change your lifestyle, maybe your place where you live, and things which you do, most likely dramatically. So the decisions will not be easy, and it will be good because there will be lots of potential views and potential opinions, which will be expressed without aggression, with humor, with creativity, and because the people are supposed to also practice wisdom training. Furthermore, being in a proximity will make you possible for a group practice of wisdom training, about which I will talk later on, and about because making a decision in ideal situation will require a certain procedure, etc., which I will talk. But since the ideal situations might be very rare, you have to do the best you can. But it's very good to have at least face-to-face communication, which you could do once one of your members will master and become clear how to utilize Zoom. It's pretty good. I tried to do it. It was a more or less so far disaster, but I will keep trying. It is a pretty good medium to communicate. You can even record that and review it. So that will be what I suggest. If that is not the case, always remain Facebook, and you can write text or you can make little videos or whatever you do. It is up to you. I am not giving solutions. I am simply making suggestions. And as I said, I was contemplating in later, it really will require that members of the new nucleus have to acquire certain degrees of expertise, because I said how to, assuming that the nucleus is formed as some form of cooperative and its expenses are supplied by bank, you have to repay this loan. And in order to repay the loan, it's not sufficient to have to be self-sufficient in terms of food and in terms of energy and in terms of housing and in terms of the nice environment. We live in capitalism. You have to make sure that you will make money. And in order to make money, obviously you will have to get involved with some activity which produces money. The sky is the limit, what it could be. It should be something which a relatively small group optimally can produce or provide services, and if you really put your heads together, you will figure it out. I was, for a while, was trying to find something funny. It will be the growing the organic raspberries out of the season. It was fantastic because they are deadly expensive and production of them is very inexpensive. So if you want to anybody, I have some data and information about this raspberries and how to grow them. It's a quite a interesting procedure, a little bit funny among other things. You could and you should grow them in protective environment, but apparently before they get there, they have to be well cooled. Why they like it, I don't know, but everybody agrees. So you have to, the people will have to find, in the winter it's not difficult to put them, to cool them a little, but in the summer how to cool them, I don't know. Probably maybe dig a big hole and make like it used to be done, cellar and etc., etc. It could be combined with the general food production for the for the nucleus, we'll have lots of good organic raspberries. Why raspberries? Well, if anybody wants to know, please get in touch with me. I don't want everybody talk about raspberries because I might be completely uninterested in it. Anyway, I think that was just humorous talk, which ended the creation of Nucleus. It is not easy. I'm summarizing. It's not easy. At this point, people might not be interested to drop their comfort and jump into unknown or even lack of comfort. We are very accustomed to whatever, to suffering, for example, and we don't want to stop it, or it requires lack of effort to stop it, because suffering will disappear if we will not strongly reinforce them. So it will not be easy. But now it looks like a kind of a humorous thing. I'm afraid in several years it ceased to be humorous, because the fact which I'm trying to persuade, that situation of world is dangerous, well, we can agree with it theoretically and go along and do whatever we do. But in several years, it will be so obvious, I will not be there to witness it, but I hope you will. And then the idea of getting together and creating a sane society, which I call wisdom society, will become fairly imperative. So I'm sort of leaving it for future generation, and now you can just listen it and enjoy it, I hope. So it will be everything for today, and I will start talking now more about wisdom training for a few sessions and come back. Maybe it will not be already Nucleus, it might be already Village. We'll see. So goodbye for now. Have a good time.